Great. Hi, everybody. This is William with Metaphysical Insights, and I want to thank you for joining us today. I have Anna and Jason with Para Para Experiences Radio, and also the West Yorkshire Paranormal.
Yeah.
And I've had the good fortune of meeting these people and exploring with them. And in fact, Jason was one of about 6 people that actually went to see me instead of a famous person at a Terraforce lecture a few years ago, and which earned my eternal gratitude because I wanted to be in the other lecture. but welcome to both of you.
Thank you. And to be fair, the chat was very good. You know, I got a lot out of it, and I made a good friend out of it as well. So it was great.
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you. It's nice to have. And I'm glad to be here. We were supposed to have somebody else on who may or may not join us later, and it's wonderful to have Anna on as well. Anna works in a haunted library.
I do. The Leeds Library.
Mm-hmm. And
has its own ghost.
Wait, it's what?
It has its own ghost. I have not actually tried to investigate on my own yet, though.
Okay. And Jason works in a haunted museum.
I do, haunted museum and a haunted abbey. So
right.
Really lucky to work there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I've been privileged to go to both.
Yes, you have, yeah.
Yeah.
You've not been inside the abbey yet, though. But next time you come, you can go inside the abbey.
Yeah, I've only been outside.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, how did both of you, whoever wants to talk first, how did you get involved in the paranormal? How long have you been doing it?
Ladies first.
I like that.
Well, I got involved because Jason came and did an investigation at the library. He was the first team to investigate, well, properly investigate, I think probably really ever. There was somebody who did it in the 80s, but yeah, so he came along, chatted to me and my boss at the time, and I got to be the one that was there when they did the investigation, and I was super enthusiastic because I was really into it, but only really watched the shows, on TV. And then he said, come and join the team, and the rest is history. So I've been doing it, I think, about 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're fairly new at it. Going. I'm sorry?
She's still doing it. She's still there.
I am.
Okay. He hasn't chased you away yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
The ghost might.
Well, they used to once upon a time. I was very scared when I first started, wasn't I?
Yeah, I think when I first met Anna and she took me down to the basement, it was a very, very scared Anna going down to the basement, which for me was the greatest place ever because it was like the first scene out of Ghostbusters where it was all the books piled high and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And she was like, I'm terrified.
Yeah, because we said, well, you come down and do like just me and you down here. And I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic place. It's got a very good story, which is in the books of the Ghost Hauntings of Leeds. It's in there. I've not met him though, and it's one of my why I wanted to investigate there was because I wanted to try and catch him. I don't think we ever will. I just think it may have been a one time only he was seen because he just doesn't seem to be very active there. But other things do. I just want that one moment where he sticks his head out of the bookcase and he's there again, and job complete.
Yeah, I have another theory though. I think one of the other people is another librarian who worked there for about 50 years, and then even after he retired, he volunteered there. So I think some of it may be to do with him, but we've never done that line of questioning. So at some point, we will have to investigate it again.
Yeah.
I can put that theory out.
Did you find any evidence at all of anybody there?
Yeah, we've had lots of what was it like?
You had the breath. That breath on the
it felt like there was a male there, and it was like a very like her breathing like that. And also you do get a lot of like things are following you around. And just before I got on an investigation, Anna went in the library and there was some books on the floor, which was literally like 5 minutes before I got there. I was like, no. But we've had other team members going there, and they've all experienced something, especially in the basement.
Michael got that shadow figure, didn't he?
Yeah, and I've seen a shadow in the basement as well. So you could be at one side of the basement and see like a black figure just dash across, and it's also quick all the time. But it's very interesting. It needs a lot of working there. Because there is things there that just aren't ready to tell us who they are yet, but they're there. They're happy to show little glimpses, but they're not quite ready yet to say hello to us. And we keep going back. We keep trying. We took some children there as well who had a fantastic time. And nearly made me retire early, but they had a great time running around the library trying to catch ghosts.
It's such a beautiful place too.
It is. And it's been there. I don't know how long it's been there. It's been there a long time, hasn't it?
It was founded in 1768. It's been on that site since 1808. So it's been there a long time, and I've been there 19 years. So
wow.
It's a great place to work as well.
Yes, it sounds like it.
Yes.
Well, Liam, what got you started? I mean, Jason. Liam.
I started. I've always been interested in ghosts since I was little, and obviously I used to go camping in the Scouts, and I used to tell ghost stories all the time. And my favorite film of all time was Ghostbusters, and it got me so into it. And it wasn't till a few years later, this is when Most Haunted was on and things like that on TV, that I started to think, there could be something in this. But then I was living in this house, and my roommates and my first wife at the time, she said that about 4 times that she saw a woman in white on the stairs. And my first reaction was, you crazy idiot, that was stupid. It wasn't until my housemate came downstairs and said, look, I've just seen a woman in white on the stairs. And he was like, I can't, I've just seen a woman in white. And I was like, well, did you really? Or are you both talking to each other? Are you both filling each other's heads? And it wasn't till many months later where I was on the stairs, and the stairs used to make a noise as you walked up, when creaky noises up every stairs. And I was there with one of the dogs, and one of the dogs just stopped, and it was staring down the stairs, and then you could hear each stair make a noise, and then all the way up. And as I looked up, there was a white, not like a figure, but like the end of like a skirt or something going up the stairs, and I was then like, oh, dog. What do you do? But then I was completely hooked. I wanted to know what was going on. And then when I got with Sarah, she just said, why didn't you set up your own team? And this was about 10 years ago. And we've just gone from strength to strength, and we've been all over. We help people in the homes and stuff, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we're part of the Pats family as well, which we help. Any cases that they get sent to us, we then go and have a look for them. And again, it's all voluntary, but it's been good. It's been great for us, and who knows where we're going to be in a couple of years. It's just getting bigger and bigger all the time.
Well, and I've met a good chunk of your team in the past, and really wonderful people. And we didn't have a chance to do real investigation, but kind of investigation light work, both at the library and then outside the Abbey. And
I mean, when we come across next time, we will do an investigation at the Abbey. We'll sort that out. And probably the library as well, so you can go in.
You can definitely do the library.
And I remember I picked up things at the Abbey, and I think I picked up at the library, but I don't remember.
Yes, you did.
You're saying at the library, you picked up a lady stood outside the librarian's office.
Okay.
I remember at the Abbey, you were picking up things which, obviously, because we just took you there, we didn't tell you where we're going, and you was picking up things at the Abbey which are in the ghost books of Leeds and stuff, and it was just like, wow.
I haven't read those.
Yeah, I mean, it was good because you'd gone there. We just said, right, we're going here. This is where we're going now, and you had no clue where you were going. So it'll be good to get you inside because there's more inside than what there is outside. But what you were picking up around the Abbey is what's being documented by a lot of people. So that was really good. And again, it shows you how good you are. I like to test you.
I appreciate it. And it's nice, we never know if we're getting something right until we get confirmation somehow or another. Because we can be wrong. And both sites are beautiful. The library looks like a library should, and has the tall ladders and the rich woodwork and all the rest of it. Lots of stairs.
Lots of books as well. Books everywhere.
Yep, no lifts, if I remember right. And
No,
the Abbey,
it's all
and the
walking
Abbey
downstairs.
is exactly what you'd want in the beautiful setting it's in, and the park and the river and the trees, and it's they're both exactly the settings you'd expect them to be.
You've not seen the museum yet as well. The museum set, it's got a Victorian street in there, so that's even better. We're getting some good stuff in there at the moment, which even the staff are now scared to go in and turn the lights on and stuff. So I've got to do it every morning.
Yeah, and we went to the medical museum where you used to work.
We did. I used to work there as well. Yeah, we went there, and again, you were picking up things that you didn't know about, and I was just like, "Yep, that's right. Yep." Which
makes me happy.
It's interesting that because Anna doesn't think it. Well, she'd never experienced anything there ever, and she's doubting it. But because I worked there for like 5 years, I was seeing it daily, and I was like, "Yes, it is definitely haunted. There's lots going on here." But every time Anna went, nothing.
No.
I wonder. You're very psychic, actually, Anna, but there's something of a block with it yet where you haven't let it turn on. Maybe that's why you weren't discovering that yet.
Possibly. I mean, I had experiences at the library, which is, in part why I was interested in when Jason and the team came, and I was really excited because I wanted them to tell me it was all in my imagination, but they didn't. But so I've had experiences. I felt like I've been touched on the back of my arm and things like that. But I generally, when I do investigating,
I didn't understand that.
Oh, hang on. Let me turn my phone off.
Oh, Anna's getting secret messages from the other side.
Talking to me. Right. Sorry. So, but when it comes to like other experiences, I always feel like I'm chasing the same kind of things that I've experienced, but I never do. But I'm so, because of the way that we investigate, which is to debunk, I can talk myself out of anything, I think. And that's probably, I've gone too far the other way, so I don't open myself up to it. I just go, I can have a rational explanation for this, for everything. Well, apart from some things that you can't, but that's it for personal experiences. I will rationalize it and say it's not. So yeah, I suppose I do block it.
If she can't, she runs away.
And if you can just,
yeah, I've done that as well.
It's really
if Anna's in doubt, she runs away.
I have a wonderful good friend, a sister from over there, who was over here visiting, and we went to a conference. And I'm not going to give a name, but if she hears this, she'll know exactly who I'm talking about. And it was so funny because here's a very good medium, a well-seasoned investigator in the paranormal and psychic world all her life, really. And we were in an old church, well, old for us, 1880s maybe. The second oldest or third oldest house in Oregon was built in 1843. So that gives you an idea how new everything is compared to you guys. But we heard a rustling of heavy fabric, like lots of taffeta, wedding dress, something. And she screamed, and another friend of mine were there, and she kind of jumped on both of our laps. And it was pretty funny, the seasoned investigator and psychic getting scared. So I always laugh at things like that, which is probably setting me up for a major scare one of these days. But I think it's pretty fun. So, well, what other kinds of places do you guys investigate? What kinds of places do you like to investigate?
Well, I'll let Anna go first because she likes certain locations. She's desperate to go to all the time.
Well, yeah, I do, and we've not done very many of these, mainly because they're quite expensive. But I like castles. I've always had a love of castles. I have a love of history, so of course it just all ties in with that. So if you gave me a castle, I'd be happy anytime. But I mean, we've been jails, haven't we? The old Nick in Gainsborough, that was an interesting one that we went to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I'm remembering back to my report, I think I saw shadow figures there going past the window because we couldn't see anybody. So,
Yeah.
and that's one of the places I did run away because I had a big bang.
No, but you was very scared though, wasn't you?
I was just a little tiny bit.
No, we go all over the UK, so we can go all the way. We've been all the way down to Hastings, which is a really fantastic place. It's a crime museum, so they have all the serial killer objects there, which you can actually touch. You know, you can. I mean, I love. Well, I shouldn't, but I love serial killers and the stories and stuff, and being able to touch things like the acid bath murderers, Cambrios, and things like that, and it's just fascinating. And we got a lot of stuff in that area. I mean, I spent half the night in that area because it was my favorite part. But they had like the chains around the exhibition, and they were just all rocking back and forth, and we asked it to and stuff, and it was. And then we got the we don't really use the SLS, but we put the SLS in there as well, and there was a figure stood in there as well, and it was like it's put its hands out to rock the chain, and it was very strange. I actually loved it. You know, I would love to. It wasn't so far away. I would go back every weekend if I could there because it's my favorite. But we've done castles. We did Lancaster Castle, which is a jail and a castle.
I didn't get to do that one.
I mean, that for me again, that was a good one because I like the Pendle Witch story, and you could go in the cell where the Pendle Witches were held and stuff. And we got some really good stuff down there and in the whole place. And that was the first time everyone else saw a ghost but me because I was at the back. I think there was about 15 guests there as well. And everyone, all 15 of them, saw a white figure walk across in front of them. And the security guard at the back was talking to me, telling me about his haunting at his house. And we both missed the ghost. And everybody else saw it. And I was so mad afterwards. I was like, no. I'd never seen anything, and that was the worst time of my life because I was like, that was the first time I'd probably seen a proper figure walk past. It wasn't until an aircraft museum we go to. It's in Sunderland, and that for me it's probably one of the bigger places. It's not a big place, but for hauntings and things happening, it's up there with the top for me because I saw my first apparition, well, half an apparition. I saw like a conductor, which was just his head and his body, no legs. He was stood there. Okay. We've had objects thrown at us because there's a Czech traitor, a German pilot or something that was in there, and he was a spy for the Germans there, and he got arrested and hung and all that kind of stuff. But if we go in there and you put on Google Translate in Czech that he's a traitor, he starts throwing things at you. So it's really good. Everything that happens there, it's physical. You see it or it throws something at you, which we love. I love
it's audible because that's the second place I ever got to investigate with the team, and I heard whistles, I could see where everybody was, and I could see that nobody else was doing it, and I actually heard whistles, and there was again another loud bang there that we couldn't explain.
Yeah, and also when we was there, he has all CCTV set up around the museum, and the base room is like a little porter cabin, which is well off the rest of the museum, and we're all in there having a cup of coffee, and everything is chained up. When you get there, it's all locked and bolted and stuff, and no one can get in or out. It's an airfield and stuff. We were all sat on CCTV, and he's just there going, "Come here." And we walked in there, and on CCTV, you could see a pilot in a World War II bomber outfit just walk straight across the screen. And I was just like, get in there now. Okay. And yeah, it's just mental, what a place that is. That's one of my favorites. I love anything to do with like war and stuff because you get so much energy from it all. But they've got some crashed planes up there and stuff. So it's some of it's very sad. But the things that happen up there are constant, and he doesn't let many people in, which is great. He only lets a certain number of teams go in, and we're one of the very lucky ones to go in there. So it's good for me. Is that one?
And we were supposed to go back, weren't we? But we're not able to at the moment.
Yeah, Sunderland is in major lockdown at the moment, so yeah, we've been told no. We were going back next month. I think we were going to go up there, but we've just had I had a chat with him this week, and they've said no, we can't go up there. So very frustrating for us because we were looking forward to it. We've got to wait another year now, so yeah.
No, we will go back. We will go back.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's also things like that because the small museums is if people can't go, then are they going to even survive to stay open? You know, and that's the worry at the moment over here that some of these places they're not massive museums. Some are funded like we do one in Skegness, which is it's all run by volunteers, and they really struggle on a good day. I mean, you've been there. You've been to the farm, haven't you, in Skegness? That's where I saw it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, because it's run by volunteers, is that going to stay open? You know, how long is that going to stay open? Because if no income's coming in, they're not going to be able to, and that's a worry because it's a great place. Is that?
Yeah, it is, and very haunted. And we're having trouble like that with museums here too. I'm on board with trustees and stuff with a few of them, and it's the ones that aren't run by the government, particularly, are having problems.
Yeah.
And you've got so many there. I mean, even English Heritage, I'm sure, is having problems at times.
Yeah, I mean, English Heritage over here are usually, and National Trust are very hard to investigate anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They're normally very much like, no. A set few may let you in, but it takes a lot of trust and a lot of negotiations to even step foot in it. And yeah, I think a lot will start to close. I mean, my museum, which normally can hold 200 people a day, we're only allowed 36 people in at a time. You know, it's madness, and we're losing people left, right, and centre. We're getting about 10 people coming in a day at the moment. It's crazy. People are scared to go out. People are scared to go in these places.
Yeah, and I mean, if I don't know what to say. Actually, it's a crazy, screwed up time, and I hope it gets better soon, and that we get vaccines and the whole rest of it soon. But who knows?
It could be another year. We just don't know, do we?
I get visions about certain things, and I don't know if they're right or not, but we'll see. But I think it's going to get better for a little while anyway. But
yeah. Well, we'll get through to Christmas at least, won't we?
Right. Let's see what happens. But all those people say, "Oh, we'll just wait for next year; it'll get better." And I'm thinking, be careful what you ask for. It can always.
Yeah, we want to go for it. We want to be out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
pardon me?
We've just lost a big one. I mean, there's the place that we've just negotiated and finally got after years and years of trying, and they finally say yes, and then we get locked down. We can't go in, which is a real shame because no one's ever done it, and we were like, I can't believe it. We can't go in, and we're having to wait. It's frustration because it's taken so long, so many years to get through the door. Finally get through the door, and it's like you can't come in because of lockdown.
Yeah, even with a small group of you.
Even a small group. I mean, it's a market. It's huge. It's got a big plot on there, and even with 6 of us, it's a no. They won't entertain it. So it's the council, which I understand that because my museum's run by the council, and they're like no paranormal, not at all. So.
It's. I think it's because the local lockdowns are sort of saying no mixing of households as well, so that makes it more difficult. So there's the kind of the rule of 6, and then if you're in a local lockdown area, it's different again, and that's why they're being so strict about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand it. We've got lockdowns, distancing, all of it does seem to work. So, our numbers in my state are down again, but I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, but we've got it booked in for next year, or a date for next year, at the beginning of next year. So, fingers crossed again. Hopefully, we'll be able to go then, and things will be better.
Yeah, that sounds good.
At least for next year, though, we don't have to put much work in because they've all been rescheduled.
Yeah, I know my trips have all been rescheduled too because everything got canceled this year. I was supposed to do, and I don't think I'll get over to the UK next year. But there's a chance. There's a slim chance that there might be a project going on. I'll be able to be part of that'll get me over there, but I'm not sure at this point. But
the saddest part for me is we have got, and not just us, but other paranormal teams have got a hell of a lot of personal houses that have come and asking for help.
Yeah.
And we I think we doubled our usual number in a month, you know, and we just had to say we can't come in. And we're trying our best to talk to them all the time and call them and stuff, but it's just not the same. You know, they want you to go out and have a look, and there's nothing we can do. And we were so close to going out. We actually got one or two done. We had the schedule where they're all going to go in, and we got put back in lockdown again. And we just, again, some people have been pushed back. I mean, it's been months and months and months, and these people have got to live with potential spirits in the house that we can't get to. And some of these people are scared, and when they call you, they're scared at home. And I always say you can't be scared at home because your home is your safety. You go home, you expect to be safe from anything, you know. And it's horrible having people on the phone who are upset and crying and don't know what to do, and all you can do is try and give advice over the phone. And it's not the same. It really isn't, and it's scary, you know. Especially when they say they've got children, and we have a thing where if a child's involved, we go straight away. It doesn't matter if we're on a case already. Someone in the team goes, and we go, and we just can't do it. And some of these people have got kids, and they're scared, and we're just trying our very best over the phone to say this is what I would recommend, this is what I would do, but without actually going there and seeing what's there. I mean, it could be something very negative. It could be something not at all. We're going to go debunk it. We're not going to go say it's a ghost. We're going to try and find a rational explanation for it.
Yeah, could it be radon gas? Could it be carbon dioxide?
I mean, we have all them in the kit that we take with us, but you just can't do it, and you can't be on the phone saying have you got a carbon dioxide detector or anything like that, because you could be on the phone for hours. You know, you just need to be there. You just know when you go in a house sometimes if it's bad or if it's good, because you can feel it as soon as you walk in there. 9 times out of 10, it's not even paranormal. It's just something quite simple. But hopefully, all these cases are like that. They're not bad, but these people think everything's a ghost.
Right.
At the moment. Yeah.
And if you get in that mindset, everything becomes scary as well. And that's the problem.
Yeah. We also find that people not the household itself, but like say a neighbor goes there, and the neighbor fills the head and say, "Oh no, it's a ghost, and it's demonic, and it's evil, and it's going to hurt your children and stuff." And we're like, "What are you talking about? Don't say that. You know, you're supposed to be a friend. don't say that." So we're getting a lot of that, and we're looking at it thinking, why would people do that to somebody? It's horrible.
It makes them sound like smart and like they know something the other people don't, and I think.
I mean, we had one lady who was able to spy across the road what she was doing in the bedroom and stuff, and I was thinking, has she got binoculars? Because I can't see her house from over here, and it's very scary.
It did sound a little creepy actually when she was
like, I could tell when you got out of bed and walked across to the door and stuff, and I was like, how? How is that possible?
It's called remote viewing, and I do that with paranormal beings. I can do that with long distance for houses and stuff, but I don't creep in to see what color pajamas somebody's wearing. You know,
this wasn't a psychic. This was a normal person who must have like a telescope or binoculars or whatever. It's just very strange. It doesn't help. It really doesn't, and it's a scary world out there.
Yeah, the stalker word comes on. So, who knows? It just gets crazy. And Vivian is on. Now, when you've got something like that, do you try to clear entities, or do you come up with ways of living with them?
We have people who can do that, but for us to get to that stage, we really like to hit the house hard and make sure it is a ghost. There's no point attempting to clear something that might not even be there. So we always go with a mindset of saying, it doesn't matter what the stories are, doesn't matter what. So it could be, I don't know, it could be a castle which has got Anne Boleyn running it down, but we don't go in there and say Anne Boleyn's here. We go in there and say, forget the stories. We're going to find out what's here, and we're going to try everything possible to say it's not a ghost.
Okay.
Once we get through all that, we then look at the evidence and things like that to back it up, and then we go and say, look, we'll come back. We do small claims as we leave, and then have a proper look at it, and then go back and say, this is what it is. Because we always in a mindset of saying that we don't want to cleanse a house if it's something that they want to keep, such as if it's their grandmother,
Right.
and they really love their grandmother. We don't want to just go, right, we're going to get rid of it. It's that, because we then say, right, we have evidence to say this is your grandmother. This is what it said. You agree it's your grandmother. What do you want to do with this? And 9 times out of 10, they'll go, it's my grandma. Leave it there, you know. I wouldn't feel comfortable in a position going, it's your grandma. I've got rid of her. She's gone. You know, because I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't. If my granddad was with me, I'd be like, well, he can stay there. You know, I'd rather my granddad have my back than anyone else. So, you know, I'm not. See, I was once at the Abbey doing an investigation, and someone said to me and said, "Oh, there's some monks here. Why don't you get rid of them?" And I said, "I can't do that." And she said, "Why? It's your job to do that." I said, "No, because they're monks. This is the church. This could be their heaven. I ain't gonna go and take them away from that unless they come to me and say I want to go, and then that's different. But no, this is their place. They absolutely adore. This is their place. They wanted to be in there, and taking them out of there after death for me is not great. You know, so unless they really need to be moved on, then no, I like to keep it that way. And I know some places, some locations which do need things moving on, but they're secretly said to us, no, it'll make money. Leave it there.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense too. And you know, my own philosophy is
crazy. It's crazy.
that they're not trapped souls; they're either visitors or it's part of our. It's part of who we are that we leave behind, you know, and the soul goes on. And I find often that once you know what something is, you can work with it and set ground rules. And so I've had a lot of people who didn't want what they had to decide that it was okay to have it there because they could create rules to exist together, cohabitate in a reasonable way. And to me, that's a win-win as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about now in some of these places? Are you able to connect to the spiritual dimension that kind of goes with it?
I'm not. For me personally, I'm not psychic unless something happens. But I've gone in places where I've stood there and I felt really heavy or really dizzy or really sick, and then people who are more sensitive are coming and says there's a portal here or there's a vortex or whatever there, and I'm thinking, well, I can't see it, but I can certainly feel it. So what is that? And that for me is more. It's not worrying, but it's like if I can't see it. I don't know. I don't know how to open up on that. What's that state there? Sorry.
Okay. Now Vivian posted, but Jay, evil will show itself as a great deceiver, maybe as a family member long deceased. So my question is, how do you know that what you're seeing or receiving is being truthful?
That's good. You know, you can't. Anything can deceive you, and we're very open about when we talk to people that don't always be truthful of who it is. And we had a nice chat with someone the other day who said the first question he would ever ask a spirit is, tell me the truth. And he said that he would like to speak to his grandmother because he trusts his grandmother and he would be able to ask questions that way because he could gain he knows that she would tell the truth to him. And I thought that was quite interesting. It's very good to get the full on pattern of what's going on personally. And the evidence, it's not just a recording. You need to have things that really back it up. And it's a lot of research we do. We have research people. I mean, we have the library, so we like to look into things. And I know things can deceive you, and I know things are.
It's about asking the right questions as well, isn't it?
Yeah. There is some nasty things out there, and you've got to be careful, especially when it's people's houses. And we do a lot of follow-up calls. We do like to keep going back just to check everything is okay. Especially with the people, because you never know if anything latches onto them as well, which we don't want to happen. But we have people who deal with that for us. We just look at the evidence and present it across and see what we get.
Okay. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Vivian? We'll find out. But it's because it's difficult. I find actually more honesty with the paranormal beings I talk to, psychically at least, than I do sometimes with the living. But that's just the way it goes.
It's also good having mediums who you trust as well, who you know who's done a good job. Because like I said, I don't see that side of it, so I have to look at the physical side of it, what we get, but also what they pick up as well. Because without them, they're like the missing piece of the jigsaw. You know, they can fill in the answers. I can just get what's at the property at that time or location.
And same here. I'm not that inclined either.
Well, we'll just next time over, we'll do a workshop.
Yeah. We've discussed that before, haven't we? Doing workshops.
Because when we chatted to you before, and you said you could pretty much teach anybody, and I was quite curious about that because I kind of assumed I would be unteachable.
No, everybody's psychic. Let me see what's this. How many of your team are DBS checked?
We have everyone who goes to a client has the checks.
Okay.
So we all work in museums and libraries and lifeguarding and all that. We're all checked. Okay,
that's great. And I'm assuming that's a background check type thing.
Yeah. Any place like that, they check us before we get the job. So I've been checked like for 2 different museums. Every time we get a place in a new museum or anything like that over here, we get checked. Excellent. So because we work with children all the time.
Yeah, and with the library, the same kind of thing.
Yeah, the lifeguard in the team, he works at a university, so he has to get checked. You know, so everyone is checked. We're very open with that. We need but people work in care homes and things like that, so they all get checked on our side because they need to be. You know, they're working with children. They're going to people's homes, so they need to be checked.
That's fantastic. We don't get much of that over here. People don't do those checks as much in the teams, I find. Now, if you're working with kids and such professionally, yes, then you're checked. But even as a volunteer, if I was to volunteer at a school,
you get checked. So museums I've worked in, even if you volunteer, you get checked. You have to be checked because we get school kids coming in all the time. So there is a possibility you're left alone with them kids, and so you need to be checked over here.
Yeah, we don't get as much. Well, let me see. I'm trying to think. The museum I volunteer with and do things with sometimes, there's always city staff at it, so maybe that's why. No, it's interesting. I don't think we do as much of it as you do.
Yeah, I used to be in the scouts as well, so I used to look after. I used to teach kids there, and again, we were checked there as well. So you need to be checked. From what I know, you get checked all the time for things like that over here. I don't know every single job, but the places I've worked, you definitely get checked. And the guys that we work with, we make sure we ask them before they go out to client. You know, what do you do? Do you need to be DBS checked? If not, we'll look at getting that. Or don't let them go out at all. But everyone who goes out with us has been checked. Because it's like I said to you earlier, there's a lot of scary people out there who do things with kids and I've got kids too, so I would go absolutely mental if it happened to me. So we are always very careful with that.
Great. Yeah, and Vivian wrote back and said, "This is so refreshing to hear, Jay." So
I think there should be something for every team. out there that there should be something in place that everybody is. If you are doing house calls, you are all your teams checked, and this is why I think there should be some kind of national paranormal thing where everyone has to be registered, everyone has to be on there saying that they're DBS checked and things like that, but it's just never going to happen, unfortunately.
No, not at this point, unless maybe something through the Ghost Club or through the Association for Psychical Research.
Yeah, there needs something for, if you want to be at any team, I think there should be something on there where every team must register, everybody. And
I mean, ASAP have a register, don't they? You can register with them as an investigator, approved investigator.
Yeah, for me, it's not the same though. I think if you want to do this, and there is people who just go out willy-nilly and go to someone's house, and we've seen it, and they do a really bad job, and we've had to go in and try and pick up the pieces, but I just think there should be something on there for you go into people's homes, and for me, they're ringing you because they're scared, and we've always said that they ring you when there's no one else to turn to. They try the police, they try the police, they try everybody, and then they come to you're the last port of call. So it needs to be better managed for me.
Yeah, it makes sense because we get a lot of that over here too, and the TV shows especially. People watch a few shows and then say, "Oh, I can do this," and go out. They spend a bunch of money on equipment they don't really need and go out and stir things up. And I've often talked people out of having an investigation, actually, because if I can come up with enough information for them, she says the trouble is you will never be able to police this here in the UK.
Yeah, there is some, there's some fantastic. I mean, I've met Vivian before, but there is some fantastic teams out there, but there's also some horrendous teams out there. Which, when I see them, I mean, we never comment on Facebook on anything like that. What happens badly over here, but we see it, and we talk about it in private, and we always go, it's cringy, it's scary, and I wish we could. But it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You get people who do something wrong over here, and then within 2 weeks they set up a brand new team, and everyone's forgotten about it. It's only the people who have been around a while who know about these people and go, stay well clear of that. But then you find out they set up again, a new name, new fan base, and it's happening all over again. And it happens time and time again over here.
Yeah, and we get a lot of that too. And it's, I wander around half naive. I'm getting better at it. I only have a few people here I work with at all that I trust enough, and Vivian keeps me out of trouble over there, and then I've got you and a couple other people that
and Lucy as well, isn't there?
Yeah, and so it helps, and I don't need a team or a big investigation. I go into it to talk to the entities. I like to go meet friends. I like to hear their stories or whatever. And 3 hours of equipment, and I'm bored.
I think we use less and less equipment nowadays than what we used to. I mean, we've got tons of it, but we seem to hardly ever use it. We just go and just go in the buildings with a torch.
Mm-hmm. Now, Vivian has a question for Anna. Can you mention your worst paranormal experience? Why did this frighten you? Do you feel it makes you a stronger investigator? What did you learn from it?
So, well, I suppose that's quite a difficult one to answer. There's like the things that made me scared. So the incident at Gainsborough where I'd basically gone into this area of cells, and I'd got a bit cocky because I'd been doing this, and I was less scared than I was. So, as I was saying, when I first started out, I wouldn't have gone anywhere on my own. And then after doing it for a while and realising just because something's paranormal, it doesn't necessarily make it scary or something to be frightened of. So I'd got a little bit cocky, and I'd gone wandering down into these cells, these prison cells. I can do this. I'm fine. I'm an investigator now. I know what I'm doing. And I was walking back up the corridor, and I just had this feeling of being watched. And I was like, no, it's in my head. It's in my head. Don't be silly. It's in your head. Walking up the corridor. Then there's this huge bang behind me. Well, of course, bangs frighten you anyway. But there was nothing that I could see that had made the crash. And I legged it round the corridor. only to bump into Sam, who I didn't realise was still there because I thought was entirely on my own. So that did scare me. Afterwards, I had a bit of a giggle about it, but for the rest of the evening, I was a little bit
On edge.
yes, shall we say? I wouldn't turn my torch off. But then, so that's the sort of thing that scared me. But then at the same time, from doing things like this, I used to be incredibly scared of the basement at work. I would run down there and run out there for years. I mean, I've been there for years. Now that I understand that not everything paranormal is scary, just because you can sense something doesn't mean to say it's there to hurt you, and it doesn't mean to say you have to be scared of it. You can try and understand what it is, and I think that's what I've taken from all of this. Yes, things can still make you jump. Yes, things can still make you scared. But bangs will do that. Things that make you feel a bit creepy will do that. But that doesn't mean to say it's scary. And I think that is what I've taken away from it, if that answers the question.
Very good. That makes a lot of sense. And that's what I like about what I can do. Once you know what it is, it's like the kid gets scared of the monster he sees on the bedroom wall at night. Well, you pull back the curtains and you see that the moonlight is shining through the branches that are moving in the wind and then coming through that window, and the shadow is on the wall. And it's a tree in moonlight, not a monster, so the fear goes away. And it can be something lovely to look at instead of a frightening thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that helps. That's part of what I like to do with a client with a house or something, because and that's part of why I don't, or a lot of times I talk people out of an investigation, because with an investigation you're asking them to do stuff, which sometimes they resent being treated that way. And once you tell them to start, it's a little bit more difficult to say, okay, now, thank you, stop.
Yeah.
Don't do it anymore. And especially when we're not dealing with souls that are fully here or something, we have to treat sometimes in ways that are a little bit more like a young child or something, where boundaries are distinct and clear and not compromised, because it's hard for them to understand the difference. Why is it okay now? Why isn't it okay now? And it makes a difference. So what is your, you've talked about castles and stuff, but your country is so full of these ancient places. And I like to go just during the daytime and see what's around, what's coming up, what's happening. Do you get a chance to do that too? I mean, it doesn't have to be a nighttime paid investigation someplace where you can just go in and kind of surreptitiously do your own investigation in the midst of anything without making it a big deal.
Yeah, sometimes we do sneakily do what we call day trips, and we go places where they won't let us investigate. And we do sometimes, have a bit of audio recorders with us and stuff, and we do have a walk around. And when it's quiet, we do ask questions. But there is some really interesting outdoor locations which we look at, and we've spent a lot of time in COVID lockdown looking for outdoor locations and different locations that people might not be able to go to. We've just been to an old school kind of what was it?
It's like a sort of, well, it's where they sent the kids, didn't they, during the war initially, and then it sort of carried on going after that right up until the 80s. But
and it's still there. Well, it's all falling down. I mean, some of the team fell through the floor, but it's well, Anna did.
You're supposed to investigate the paranormal, not create more ghosts.
Yeah, well, it's only about that far off the floor, but it was quite funny.
It's the shock going through.
Yeah, I think we'd be very lucky in lockdown. We'd better spend more time looking at the outdoor locations, and there's some fantastic places like the school. We would never have looked at that at all if we hadn't been for lockdown. And there is
brickworks as well that we went to. That was really interesting.
Yeah, abandoned brickworks.
voice, didn't he, when we were there and that was during the day.
Yeah, we what we've been doing is, because these places are outside, there is we need to make sure there's not people hanging about, because obviously there's still a social distancing.
Right.
We're finding more people are out. Like Anna said, she went for a walk a few weeks ago to a place which is normally completely deserted, and she said there were cars pulling up at left, right, and centre because people are just going for their walk, and they're everywhere. So we're having to scout them to make sure that during the day, to make sure that they're safe to go to, and we have to make sure everyone's safe and making sure the rules aren't broken. And if there's loads of people, like Allen Brickworks, we scouted that out. It was empty. It was fantastic. But we went on the night. It wasn't the night. It was about the evening time, about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, really.
Full of people. It was unbelievable. It's probably never had that much action since it was working there. So it's hard.
Yeah, there were young lads doing what young lads do and having a few bevies, weren't there?
Yeah, and then started throwing bricks and stuff. So it got a bit rowdy. But yeah, we've managed to look at some places that we probably wouldn't have seen before. I mean, Anna went to go look at another old war thing the other day, which used to be a training camp during the war. Even though
it was an old First World War. Well, it was a Navy camp originally, and then during the First World War, it was a training camp for the Leeds Pals. Well, there's nothing really remaining, but you can see the bases where all the huts were. And I'd never even heard of it. It was my sister that mentioned it. She lives out that way, so she wanted to go. It was absolutely fascinating. Huge site, absolutely massive site, and on the doorstep as well. So
yeah, so we're finding more places that we've never. Everyone looks at, let's go do a castle, let's go do a haunted jail or something like that. But we've actually had to do what's that say? How does the team bonding more? I don't know. I don't know. It's been difficult. Lockdown has been hard. I mean, we did try and do online quizzes with the team, but some of the team, I mean, they'll be happy for me to say this, did struggle mentally, and we really struggled to keep them going. Because some of these people live on their own, and we tried everything as a team to be as one. But you can tell that people are struggling, and some people have bonded really well, but some people have pushed themselves away, and it's been difficult to manage because you can't go and be with them and help them, and there's only so much you can do over the phone and online. And when they say they're okay, and you think, okay, we've cracked it, and then they go and put a message on Facebook on their status saying that they can't cope. It's not nice to see. So we like the team to try and be like a family, because we spend half our lives together in the dark. If we don't trust each other and don't bond, we're just not going to work well together. And so seeing these people like this has been a real struggle for us. And not just us, other teams. I've spoken to a couple of other teams, and they're having the same problems. That some of the team is really strong, but they're having a couple of people who are just drifting away, and they're struggling to get there. And mental health is really a big thing at the moment, and it's something that we're trying to help everybody in the team, especially when you get the hopes up. Because what we did was, when we got taken off a lockdown, so we staggered bringing people out because we were trying to stay social distancing. Because we've got about 10 or 12 who come out, but we didn't want 10 or 12 coming out, so we thought we would take 6 out, and then you've got to pick 6 people to go out, and then you say, okay, guys, you're going to come out soon in the next stage when it's safer, and then you're on lockdown again, and their hopes are just dashed again, and it's been a real struggle for some of these people. But they're still there, and they just want to be out. They want to go, so it's their hobby, and we're trying as best. But every time we think we're going to get somewhere, everything changes again.
Because we moved to the locations, didn't we? And we thought we could go out, and then with the market, and then Sunderland, and we've just not been able to go. So we tried, and it's just one of those things. I think this year it's just so hard.
Yeah. Well, even things. I mean, one of the things I like to do is because my background is in history, and I like the Neolithic and Bronze Age sites, and later ones too, Iron Age, Roman, Saxon, whatever. But to go into these, a lot of times it's a field. As long as I have trouble knowing for sure if it's legal or not with some of these things. If they're located and you can see that there's some kind of a path or something that, yeah, it's okay for people to go up here. I do it. I really work hard not to trespass, especially in another country, because I have no desire to get thrown in jail in England.
Yeah, yeah, we don't trespass neither anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, is it possible to go out and explore some areas like that, and just even during the daytime?
A Roman camp. I think it was called Cawthorne Roman Camp. We haven't scouted it yet, but it's on my list to look at, because that looked to be open access. There's nothing remaining. It's not like the ones you find sort of up near Hadrian's Wall, where you've got to pay a fee to go in and have a look at those. It was just obviously just the bare bones of there was a camp there. You can see the outline, but it looked to me like it was open access. We just need to check that out to see if you can do it. There was certainly a walk around the edge of it. It's just whether or not you could go in there.
Yeah, I think the hard thing we're having as well is because the team's scattered all over Leeds. Some of Leeds are on total lockdown. Some of the Leeds are on half lockdown, and it's been hard to manage where people are living. And there's been times where people still can come out. We've had to go on the government site and check if they're actually allowed, because people really want to come out, and we say but you can't because you're on lockdown. So
your lockdown is more severe than ours is, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and I think we've got so many mixed messages over here that a lot of people are now completely confused about what's going on. There's this thing where they go out, don't go out, go here, don't go there, and people ask us and we're like, I don't know how to check. Everyone sends screenshots of what the next things are, but yeah, it's a weird time.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping.
Go ahead.
I said, I'm hoping in the long run that it'll make everyone better investigators, because everyone's going to want to go out and really do a really good job. And I think we're very lucky as it is to be investigators, because there's a lot of people who I speak to who would kill to be, in a position we're in. And so I hope that people who don't get to come out with us and do then come out recognize how lucky they are to get out and be a part of the team. So
excellent. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the show you guys have. I think I was the first person on it.
Yes. It was something that we, because we have the Taps family members in the UK, we do regularly talk to each other, and we decided that we would just have a small get-together where it brings us all together, and we could all just talk to people out there who want to talk about the paranormal. Because we were getting a lot of messages through each of those pages asking us about, can they join the teams, or just talking about paranormal. I said, wouldn't it be easier if we just had something where people, if they wanted to ask questions, just come on and ask us questions? And so we set up the Power Experience, which is the free Taps, and Anna helps us, and a girl called Lynn. It's the free Taps managers in the UK. All on. People can ask us questions, and it could be about anything. It could be about favorite locations, favorite kit. We've done a couple of shows. It's early days. We just thought, especially during lockdown, because people were asking us loads of questions, and we thought, instead of sat here doing nothing, let's talk to people. Let's try it and make it fun for people. And we just thought we'd go on and have a chat. And we had Barry Fitzgerald on the other day as well, which was really nice. So we are getting there. We try to go on once a month if we can, depending on the other guys working. Liam's, who was supposed to come on tonight, has messaged me saying he just got in about 20 minutes ago, so he didn't get in time. He apologizes. But we do try to get on and talk about anything. Anna normally sets us a topic, and we go with it.
I'm the organizer. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I had a great time being on it. And that's where I met Liam. So
yeah. Liam. You see, I've never met Liam in person because he's in Scotland. So he covers all Scotland area up there. But because I was talking to him online about cases that we could be getting and stuff, that we just thought, let's have a video call one day, and it just went from there. And he invited us onto his chat in Scotland myself and Paul, and we went on there. And then after that, we just said, why don't we just do this every month? And we did. So because we got a lot of people asking loads of questions, and all asking us about questions about locations in Leeds and Lincoln, where Paul's from. And he just thought, let's just talk about these locations, because people want to know. You know, they see a building and we say we've been there, and they want to know everything about it. So, I mean, I always say that as investigators, again, we're very lucky because we get to see some parts of these buildings that the public don't get to see, and we get to go. Like, for example, we did a swimming pool near me, and we actually get to go underneath the pool as well, which you don't really get to do that ever. And it was fantastic. It's haunted down there. But people are like, oh, wow, you've been underneath there. And we tell them all about it. And they're like, yeah, it's great. So, and we did a video tour once of a market, which I just thought was a normal market. And all we did was a video tour of it. And we got 12,500 views of this walking around the market. It was bizarre.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, it's only a small little market, but everyone was like, oh, they're there. They're at this market. And everyone was just watching the tour, even though they've probably been around the market. There was like, there's a ghost team in there. And it was weird. It was good.
Excellent. Well, how do people get a hold of you?
They can at Power Experience, they can come, or they can message the page, or when we go on chat, they then can comment on there. We did try to go on YouTube, but it didn't really work very well. It's better on Facebook for us. But if they want to then message either group's page, they can, or email us. So there's lots of ways they can get in contact with us.
And websites as well, haven't we? We've all got websites. So there's plenty of places to get in touch.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there anything else that either one of you would like to add? We're getting ready to close the program here pretty quick. But what would you like to tell people that we haven't talked about yet? Something.
I don't know.
That stumps me, that.
You know, we spent a long time just talk, because especially during lockdown, people ask, you know, they want to talk, and we spend a lot of time answering questions. So sometimes you just don't know what questions you're answering. You're just firing these questions out.
Right.
I like the things where little children come up to you and they talk about the ghosts, or they watch programs. And it was really good that we took some kids out who were so wanting to go ghost hunting, so we took them out with us, and we came away from that saying, you know what, these kids are better than the adults, because they were just fantastic. The questions they were asking as well, we didn't even think about. We were like, you know, that's a really good question, and it's amazing. And you know, so I like doing stuff like that, and I hope we can do a couple more of them in the coming years and stuff, as a one-off and stuff. I've been asked by the museum that we get a lot of disabled kids coming asking about ghosts, so we are going to do a disabled tour as well of ghost stories for disabled people, and make it very simple. Just show them a bit of the kit and walk around the museum and tell them the ghost stories. So that's something I'm looking forward to, because it shows that, because they're you know, they might not be able to walk around places and all that kind of stuff, but they're still interested. So
Yeah.
we like to help as much as we possibly can with that. And yeah, lots going on. We just got to get through lockdown.
And I still like to say, I think it's just great being able to do this. I still feel really lucky that I can do this, that I'm in a team and I get to do this. It's just, you know, I just feel lucky.
Yeah,
That's
and
fantastic. It's wonderful to hear that.
And we're like a family, you know. We do try to do things together. We do spend a lot of time on the computers as well together, which is
Yeah.
Do you watch Ghosts on BBC TV?
I haven't seen that.
Oh yes, I have. Yes, yeah, yeah. That's that 20. Yeah, I've watched. Season 2 is on now. I've watched the first 2. You know, I think it's okay. It's quite funny. I like it. You know, it's something different. You can say I'll record on Virgin, so I record it and I watch it. I think there were 6 episodes in season 1, and I kind of smashed through them pretty fast because it was something just to watch. And Yeah, it's different take. You know, she falls out the window or something, and she can now see all the ghosts and stuff. So it was kind of different take on it.
That'd be interesting. I haven't heard of the show. I'd like to check it
Yeah,
out.
it's I think they're only about each episode is only about 25 minutes long or something like that, and they're not long. And I think season 1 there was 6 episodes, and I've only watched the first 2 of season 2, so I'm not really sure how many there is yet. But it is something that it's different, you know. There's many ghosts from different times, and it's quite amusing when they try to like move little things and they're putting all the energy into try and move things, and it's just seeing what their side is for a change, which is great.
Excellent. I'll have to see if I can find it on YouTube or something.
Yeah. It'll be on there. If not, I don't know what it'll be on. I'll look it up if it's on YouTube.
Well, if it's BBC, it might be on that BritBox thing. Not that I've looked at it, but
Oh, you have to pay for that.
yeah.
I don't have TV I have to pay for.
Well, I have to say, I probably wouldn't either.
I have an indoor antenna. I get all the local stuff, and other than that, I watch Time Team or other history documentaries on my
Time Team. I love
Yeah.
Time Team. I do, you know, because it's fascinating. You know, the stuff that they find and the sites they get to go and dig it all up is fantastic. You know,
That's
and,
why I ended up doing an archaeology degree.
Oh yeah, Anna did a degree in that, so she loves that. I wouldn't even
your degree is in archaeology?
Yeah.
Okay, mine's history. So good combination.
Yep.
hmm Yeah, archaeology is good in a library. You have all those books to dig through.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
we do actually have some early archaeology books as well, because given the age of the library, it was collecting to see you've got things from like the, you know, when they were doing the Egyptology stuff and stuff from the time. And I find that absolutely fascinating. I can get lost quite easily.
I would imagine. I would think so. That's wonderful. Well, I want to thank you both very much. And hang on just a bit, but we're going to go ahead and end the program now. And so I want to thank everybody who's listened and watched live. Tell your friends. This will be up on YouTube, and it'll also be on the Simply Spooky site that Vivian Powell put together, which is where we're broadcasting from. But it'll be there along with my past shows and a lot of hers. There's some great programming on that.
Thank you for having us as well. You know, and Liam sends his apologies. He got home too late to be on the show.
Yeah,
So,
well,
if he's in the pub, I'll be having words.
I'll send him a message too, and we'll have him on another time. So
yeah, you should get Liam and Paul on. You know, and they'll tell you some of the stories as well. Because I've worked with Paul a lot. We've been to a lot of locations with Paul, so getting them both on would be good.
Wait, now where is he located?
He's in Lincoln, so I did Lincoln Guild Hall with him, but he gave me the Lord Mayor to look after, which I found was very pressurized.
Aha.
Yeah, so they've been going for like 15 years, so they've done a lot of really big locations down there.
Great. And let's see, what is the website address so we can post it here?
What's that for us?
For Para Experiences and also for your team, I think.
Probably best just to find us on Facebook.
Yeah. The Power Experience is they're both on Facebook. The Power Experience, and we're on West Yorkshire Paranormal Society on Facebook. We've got Liam's team, which is Highland Paranormal, and Paul's team, which is Paranormal Links as well. So we cover quite a lot of the UK.
Great, thank you, and thanks to all of you out there in the internet land. And we will talk to you again in a couple of weeks.